In the beginning, when the world was still young and the stories of men were beginning to be written on the sands of time, the Hebrew people, descendants of Abraham, the patriarch, lived in peace and prosperity in the land of Canaan. However, famine, that cruel mistress that so often changes the course of history, struck the region, forcing the sons of Jacob to seek refuge in Egypt, where the Pharaoh, in his magnanimity, welcomed them. Joseph, Jacob's son, had become a man of great influence in the Egyptian court, thanks to his wisdom and his interpretation of the Pharaoh's dreams. Under his leadership, the Hebrews prospered, multiplying and filling the land with their presence. But as so often happens in human history, the prosperity of some aroused the envy and fear of others. As the years passed, a new Pharaoh ascended the throne, a man who did not know Joseph and who saw the Hebrews as a threat to his authority. "Behold, the people of the children of Israel are greater and stronger than we," he told his counselors. "Come, let us deal shrewdly with them, lest they multiply. And if war breaks out, they also join our enemies and fight against us, and go up out of the land." So Pharaoh ordered the Hebrews to be subjected to captivity, to work as slaves in the construction of the great Egyptian cities. The whip of the oppressor fell upon their backs, and the groans of the oppressed echoed along the banks of the Nile. But even in adversity, the Hebrews maintained their faith, crying out to the God of their fathers for deliverance. The consequences of captivity were profound and lasting. The Hebrews, once a free and prosperous people, were reduced to servitude, their lives marked by suffering and oppression. Yet it was in this cauldron of affliction that the identity of the Hebrew people was forged. They learned to endure, to keep their faith, and to wait for the promise of deliverance that God had made to their ancestors. And then, amid the darkness of captivity, a man named Moses appeared. Raised in the court of Pharaoh but a Hebrew by birth, Moses was chosen by God to free his people. With signs and wonders, he confronted Pharaoh, demanding the liberation of the Hebrews. The plagues of Egypt, from the river turned to blood to the death of the firstborn, were a testament to divine power and an answer to the cry of the oppressed. Finally, after a long and arduous journey, the Hebrews were freed from Egyptian captivity. They crossed the Red Sea, leaving behind the chains of slavery and heading toward the Promised Land. Captivity had been a trial, but it was also a lesson in faith and perseverance. They emerged from the experience as a united people, strengthened by God's promise and the hope of a better future. And so the story of the Hebrews' captivity and liberation became an eternal symbol of resilience and hope, a reminder that even in the darkest hours, faith and courage can triumph over oppression and injustice.